Hey guys, YouTuber100 here. Alright, and now here I am with another Power Rangers related video. So for this video, I figured I would make a video to just talk about a pretty popular subject about Power Rangers. I figured I'd make a video to talk about the story of Tommy's first departure as the Green Ranger in the first season of the show. Because, yeah, for those of you that watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you know that in the very first season of the show, Tommy ended up having to give up his powers in the two-parter episode, The Green Candle. And yeah, if you are like a really big fan of Power Rangers and you actually know the history about Power Rangers, like behind the scenes, you know why this happened. So yeah, but I figured I'd just make this video to just tell the story of why this departure had actually happened. So I'm sure that just about all of you know that Power Rangers is based on the Japanese Sentai show. Yeah, because of course, in Japan they have a bunch of Sentai Ranger shows, and then of course Power Rangers is based off of those, and they use stock footage from all the Sentais to use as the fighting footage for Power Rangers themselves. And so yeah, of course the Sentai shows have gone on really long before Power Rangers even started. Yeah, they were going on for a long time before Power Rangers even began here in the US. But yeah, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was the very first series of Power Rangers, and so yeah, and the Sentai that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is based off of is called Zyuranger. I think that's how it's said. Yeah. Yeah, and of course, they used a lot of stock footage from Zyuranger to add in for the fighting footage in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And the problem with it was that there was only so much of it, right, for Power Rangers to actually use, and they eventually ended up running out because it was very limited for the stuff with the Green Ranger. And so they just have ended up, running out of the stock footage for the Green Ranger, and so they were forced to just write out the Green Ranger from the show for the time being until they could get the problem solved. And so for Power Rangers, they had the two-parter, The Green Candle. And yeah, I guess before I talk about that, I guess I should just say real quick how the Green Ranger really came intact. Yeah, because yeah, a lot of you probably know, but I'll just explain how the Green Ranger actually joined the team first, really fast. So, of course, there were the original 5 Power Rangers. There was Jason the Red Ranger, Kimberly the Pink Ranger, Zach the Black Ranger, Trini the Yellow Ranger, and Billy the Blue Ranger. And so they were the original 5 members of the team. And then it came to the Green with Evil 5-part miniseries, where Tommy ended up coming along and joining the show. And, Rita, the villain for the show, in the first season, she saw how good of a fighter Tommy really was, and she decided to use him for her evil Green Ranger powers. And so then she presented the evil dragon power coin to Tommy. And then yeah, Tommy ended up becoming the evil Green Ranger. And then Tommy ended up ransacking the command center. And he actually ended up damaging Zordon's communication towards the Power Rangers. Yeah, and so yeah, Tommy just ended up trying to really destroy the Power Rangers. But then they eventually were able to free Tommy from Rita's evil spell, and then Tommy of course ended up joining the team. And then well, yeah, as I was just talking about, well, they just eventually ended up having to write him out of the show. And so then we had the two-parter for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Green Candle. And the premise of that episode was like Rita tried to regain the Green Ranger powers back, and so there was like this green candle that Tommy apparently like touched when he was under Rita's control. And apparently, like, once the green candle like completely melted down, um, then like the Tommy would end up losing his Green Ranger powers, and they'd go back into Rita's control. And the Rangers tried to recover the green candle before it was extinguished, but they couldn't get it in time. And so then Tommy had to give up his Green Ranger powers, and so Tommy just ended up handing his power coin over to Jason, and then like Tommy and like the shield ended up being transferred over to Jason along with the Dragon Dagger. And then yeah, then of course after that Tommy was just like written out of the show until then. It was like the return of an old friend two-parter, which was like a little while after this. So yeah. And so, yeah, like I said, they actually ended up running out of the stock footage for this, which is why they had to do this. Plus, the reason being that also they had to do this was because I'm gonna need to like go back in time to just tell you, like, give you the history of Zyuranger and why they ended up having to do this for the stock footage. Because, yeah, in Zyuranger, like, we had this, like, there. I'm not sure how many of you actually know of Zyuranger. I haven't watched very much of it myself. But, yeah, the premise of Zyuranger was the Tyranno Ranger, as he's called there, Geki, actually, like, he was the younger brother of the, like, Dragon Ranger named there, Barai. Right? And apparently, like, Barai was apparently, like, he, like, had a very limited amount of time to live in that show. Oh, because, like, Barai apparently was already, like, he actually really was dead in the show. But like, apparently he was living off of a power of like the other Rangers or something. I'm not really sure like what it actually was around, but I know like he was using powers from something else to actually end up living, and so his life ended up being tied to like being his life force ended up being for like a green candle, and when it was ended up like being completely melted down, Barai would die. And so, well, as a result of that, like Barai needed to stay in like a room where time didn't exist, and 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 anytime he would leave the room, the candle would actually start to burn down. And apparently, from what I've heard, Barai's time to live, whenever he would leave the room, would be 40 hours. And so that's why, like, like anytime like Tommy would actually end up joining the fights in Power Rangers, you wouldn't actually see Tommy actually join the fight until like the ends of the battles, and that was the reason why. It was because like Barai in Zyurangers actually stayed in a room, and he would only like have to leave it if he was needed. He did in a battle scene, so then he would join in, and it would be like during the end of the battles. So that was the reason why Tommy actually didn't end up joining the morphed fights until the end of them, as you may have noticed in the Power Rangers. And apparently, eventually, like, I guess Bandora, who was one of the villains in Zyurangers or something, ended up finding the room where Barai was staying in, where time didn't exist. And it eventually ended up being destroyed. Right? And then as a result, Barai eventually ended up dying. And before he did fully die, he actually ended up transferring his dragon powers to Geki, and he gave Geki the shield and the Ranger dagger. And then Barai eventually just ended up dying. And then it showed like a spirit who was like some kind of angel or something, then holding like the completely melted green candle. And yeah, then showed that Barai was like completely dead. And then his body just ended up like disappearing. And so then yeah, because of that, that was the reason why Tommy actually ended up being written out of the show for that point, until they were able to actually fix the problem with the new footage, and also get more footage with the more of Power Rangers own footage with the American footage. Yeah, so yeah, that's something like you may notice whenever, like in Power Rangers, when they ever use like the Zyuranger footage or the actual American footage, you can just tell by the look of the shield, because yeah, whenever it's like their own original footage in Power Rangers, you notice that the shield is actually just made up of some crappy cloth material instead of like the what the original shield was actually made out of, because yeah, you can clearly see that it's not the same material that the original shield was made from. Yeah, because they look completely different. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, so yeah, that's really the reason why Tommy was actually ended up written out of the show at that point. And because yeah, you obviously like he like they like couldn't actually he kill off Tommy in Power Rangers. I mean, yeah, with like the American shows here, they are like can be a lot more strict that when it actually comes to like violence and death and stuff. So yeah, I'll go with like Power Rangers was more like child friendly with that. So of course like they chose not to kill off Tommy, just have him give up the powers for the time being. Yeah, but eventually Tommy did end up coming back in the return of an old friend, where yeah his powers were like temporarily restored to him due to energy from Zordon and stuff. So yeah. But yeah, while I was talking about Zyurangers, I guess I should point out, like, from what I've seen of Zyurangers, it actually like it actually is like a really really good show. Really, I mean, it is like definitely a lot more like intense and really dramatic than Power Rangers was. I mean, yeah, I was watching like the different the both the scenes from Zyurangers and Power Rangers. At the point where like the Red Ranger or Tyranno Ranger, whatever you want to say, was facing with the Green Ranger and the Dragon Ranger, or the Dragon Ranger. Yeah. And yeah, the fight between Geki and Barai was a lot more intense and had a lot more drama to it than the fight with Jason and Tommy. I mean, I'll put the link for the video to that in the description where it shows both fight scenes, and yeah, you can see for yourself like the Zyuranger version of the fight is a lot more intense and dramatic. I mean, it really actually does make me want to watch some more of Zyurangers. I mean, it really looks like really dramatic, and it actually does look really interesting. I really would like to watch it because I mean, just this fight here, it just shows like Zyurangers was definitely a lot more dramatic than Power Rangers was. So yeah, there'll be that down there. And just to show you guys also for yourself, like, Zyurangers actually had a lot more drama and more emotion to it than Power Rangers did. I'll put, like, also both links to both when Tommy made this departure to give up his powers, and this one where Barai actually died and passed his powers on to Geki and Zyurangers. And yeah, you can just see for yourself of like which one is really more dramatic and which one is really like the better one, really, because yeah, the Zyuranger one I really think does it a lot better. I mean, it's a lot more dramatic. I mean, with the Green Ranger departure in Power Rangers, it really is not really dramatic and doesn't really get you emotional at all. I mean, it can like make you feel like a little upset maybe knowing that Tommy was going, but yeah, I mean, you, especially watching it now, you know he's gonna come back. Like, this wasn't the last you'd see of him. But with Barai, like, dying and passing his powers, it actually is kind of sad to see. Because, I mean, it just shows a lot more emotion to it. And just it shows like Barai like can barely is like really weak, and he just eventually ends up dying. Yeah, but the only problem with the Zyuranger or scene with Barai dying that I'll have in the description, it's just it has no subtitles for that. I mean, the first link I'll have with the fight with Brian Geki, that actually does have subtitles, so you'll be able to really like understand what they're saying. Or yeah, but yeah, with the one with Brian dying, there's no subtitles for this video, so yeah, if you don't understand Japanese, you're not going to be able to really know what they're saying. So that's the only flaw with it. But I mean, the scene itself, I mean, it is actually like a pretty dramatic and emotional scene, really. Yeah, I mean, I guess like if I actually knew what they were saying, it would actually like be more emotional for me. But yeah, since like I just really don't know what they're saying, really, it really just doesn't get to that point for me. But yeah, you can check out both versions down there and just see for yourself like how much more drama and emotion Zyuranger really did have more of than Power Rangers did. So yeah, that's a so yeah, there'll be those videos down there for you to watch and just like compare Zyuranger to Power Rangers. So yeah, and so yeah, that's really my story. I thoughts on well, that's my view on the story for Tommy's first Green Ranger departure and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So yeah, but yeah, there's also another story for Tommy and Power Rangers that is like kind of has a lot of backstory to it. But yeah, so that'll probably be my next video on another subject for Tommy. So yeah, stay tuned for that. That'll be my next video coming up. So yeah, but alright, so that does it for this video, I guess, for well, the reasons for Tommy's first Green Ranger departure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, the videos will be down there of like the two different versions of the Green Ranger versus Red Ranger, or fights from Power Rangers and Zyurangers, and also the two different the green power transfers to red will be down in the description also, and you can see for yourself how much more motion Zyuranger really had. Alright, so that does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.